far as Donald Trump tariffs that seems to have rattled global trade, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney is now expected to visit India in early March with agreements expected on energy, critical minerals, emerging technologies, reported as far as when it comes to international media reports are coming in. Now, this comes both countries as are moving to reset ties and diversity and trade amid global uncertainty and stalled negotiations. Well, Srinjoy, as far as the stand that seems to have been taken by Donald Trump against Canada and in a way against India, though he maintains that he has a personal friendship with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Canada seems to be resetting ties with India as well.
Yes, this has been in the offing for a while. Times now, we have discussed this as well. Mark Carney was planning to come earlier, sometime this year, in the first half of this year, and it's very clear that he will be coming. And his visit here is going to be particularly important for a couple of reasons. One, on the Canadian side, they are looking to expand their economic ties with other countries, with the EU, with ASEAN, with China, which has already happened and led to Donald Trump being very furious about the whole thing, and also importantly with India. So that is already being planned out. Now, as a result, this will help the Canadians enormously. It will ensure they have less economic, a smaller economic relationship with the Americans. They actually have a big one now. The other point is, as far as people-to-people relationships are concerned, thousands and thousands of Indians are going to Canada to one study, and that's very important. The Canadian university system is much more welcoming, especially now in this last 10-12 months when visas to the United States has become more difficult. That's the first thing. The Canadians need people. They need people who can work, young people who are qualified. And again, India is there to help out. So this is going to be an agreement which will help both sides. And clearly, both countries are looking forward to it. The ties are gradually improving between Ottawa and New Delhi. And let's hope by March something important can happen.
Absolutely, because Donald Trump's threats to Canada appear to be pushing it towards a significant recalibration of its foreign policy, with Ottawa now aggressively pivoting towards India as a primary strategic and economic partner. And Prime Minister Carney is now expected to visit India soon, a move that seems to have aimed at rapid expansion of bilateral trade following more than 2 years of strained relations. As Srinjoy continues to be with us, we also talk about what President Trump now seems to be announcing as far as he is now raising tariffs on South Korean imports of autos, lumber and pharmaceuticals to 25%. Accusing the allies' legislature of failing to uphold its trade agreement with the United States, as Trump has added that South Korea's legislature has not approved the trade deal, and he and President Lee have now agreed to on 30th of July 2025. And this seems to be, as far as when it comes to what he is now seems to be taking as trade deals to America, saying on his Truth Social account that in each of the deals we have acted swiftly to reduce our tariffs in line with the transaction agreed to. We of course expect that the trading partners do the same. South Korea's legislature is not living up to the deal with United States, and President Lee and I reached a great deal for both countries on July 30th, 2025, and we reaffirmed that these terms when I was in Korea on the 29th of October. Why hasn't the Korean legislature approved of it? Because the Korean legislature hasn't enacted a historic trade agreement, which is their prerogative, and I'm hereby increasing South Korean tariffs on autos, lumber, pharma and all reciprocal tariffs from 15% to 25%. Thank you for your attention to this matter. So as far as South Korea also now seems to be in the line of fire, as far as whether it comes to Donald Trump now making the accusation and alleging, as far as the trade deal that he seems to be talking about last year, he believes, Srinjoy, that hasn't been enacted by the South Korean legislature. And thereafter, he seems to be now increasing the tariffs from 15% to 25%.
Now, this could be a blow because South Korea is an American ally. There are still several thousand American troops in South Korea. South Korea and Japan and the Philippines, all these countries are allies of the United States in the way that Britain and France and Germany are. South Korea and Japan particularly remain strategic allies. As I said, there are troops, American troops in South Korea. So the additional 25% is something that will make the North Koreans happy and maybe even the Chinese happy. But beyond that, it's a blow. It will hurt the relation, and the South Koreans particularly have been very loyal allies. Let's hope, for the sake of the South Koreans and also Americans, that this gets sorted out soon.
And what does it mean for the world as well? Because as far as Donald Trump and his favorite word, which has been tariffs, that are now concerned, he has been, in a way, pushing other countries, whether it comes to especially allies of the United States of America, to take a balanced and a forward-looking view as far as when it comes to economic integration with other countries are also concerned, to open their markets. Srinjoy.
Yes. Now, when you put 25% tariff on South Korean goods, automatically a Hyundai for an American in America will become more expensive. 10% more, a lot more expensive, because the tariff goes up from 15% to 25%. So the buyer in America will have to pay additional 10% tariff. That money is transferred to the buyer. So if someone in America, in New York or LA or wherever, is buying a Hyundai car, for instance, he or she will automatically pay a little more. So that's one. The second is a clear message that tariffs are a weapon. And if tariffs are a weapon, then it affects everybody. It affects friends, it affects allies. All of Western Europe was really technically an ally. All these countries, Denmark, of which Greenland is a part, Britain, France, Germany, Italy, all these countries are allies. They are part of NATO.
Particularly, when it comes to these trying geopolitical moments that is now being witnessed for Asia and for Europe, as President Trump threatening with tariffs, then when it comes to his own allies and then backing off in a certain way, and the choice as what we are looking at, that multiple countries are now seems to be making, especially when we speak of New Delhi, that seems to be accelerating strategic and trade ties with the rest of the world, as impasse over Washington's tariffs on India also spills into the new year and across the world, that we are looking at a current reset. Please do stay on with us, Srinjoy. We have another round of breaking update coming in, and this